Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And I want to talk about a little bit something that's a little bit closer to the heart and personal for me in terms of, my Call of Duty dreams, so to speak, as well as addressing something that I mentioned on Twitter, and that is whether or not I will be switching to PlayStation 4, or basically it started out like this. As I jokingly fall off the map here, on Twitter, I basically asked you guys, does it make a difference for a content creator which console they play on when it comes to Call of Duty, whether it's PlayStation 4, Xbox, or whatever? And most of you said yes, some of you said no, and some of you said that you don't know. And the thing is this, I kind of wanted to go a little bit more in depth in that because it's a lot easier for somebody to draw conclusions or whatnot when looking at a tweet like that. I mean, hell, I know I would. But the thing is this, am I going to switch over from Xbox to PlayStation 4 for Black Ops 4? And the answer to that is no. Not permanently, at least. Now, what I mean by that is, as you guys know, for all three game modes, they basically announced that they're going to have all sorts of events going on, beyond just free DLC, but they're also going to have all these kind of, I guess, events to where we can, there's going to be always something to grind for. And if these events are going to be like, to a certain extent, things like, things that basically the community can really get involved in. We're not just talking about content creation here, but we're just talking about everybody. It's going to be exciting. And we're talking like, let's see if this team, whichever team during this event gets the most wins in this game mode in the most amount of time, you win this, whether it's a calling card or something like that. I seriously doubt they're going to do real prizes like they did back in Modern Warfare 3. They probably won't do that ever again. But if they have stuff like that, then it's exciting. And I think that PlayStation is probably, I think they're going to follow the DLC formula with those as well. They might not, I don't know. But PlayStation might get those events a week ahead of time, and then what will happen is Xbox might have those events come live after that. But if not, and they both come live at the same time, then it's just going to leave more for me to do. In other words, I can participate on both PlayStation and Xbox, or I can alternate between the two. And the thing is, why would I want to alternate? Now, that's a good question, and I'm going to get into that. In terms of this whole YouTube thing and the Twitter thing and everything like that, I'm basically living the dream. There's only two things that I haven't done in terms of this whole YouTube thing when it comes to the very basics. I'm not talking about necessarily getting up to a certain amount of subs or something like that. I'm not talking about that. Because that, to me, is just a time thing. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. At least I hope so. And I got to keep up that mentality, especially for me being a small fry and everything like that. But the thing is that I am still humble to this day, and I still don't know why. It's still not that I'm complaining or anything like that. No, not at all. But I'm still humble to this day that I have a few YouTubers that are big in this community, in the Call of Duty community, that are really big and that have been doing this for a while, whether it's streaming or whether it's YouTube or whatnot, or whether they're slightly newer or whatnot. But they're very well known, and some of these people follow me on Twitter, and I guess I just got lucky, and that is something that is absolutely awesome. Every once in a while, we'll talk on Twitter or whatnot briefly, or or we'll respond to a tweet or whatnot, stuff like that. It's all good, it's all fine, it's great, love it. But the other part of the dream that I haven't accomplished yet is I haven't played with these guys. And most of these guys are on PlayStation, for obvious reasons. So even though I will not be switching over permanently, it would be nice to play along with these guys, at least temporarily, a few times every once in a while. And the thing is, I still enjoy playing solo a vast majority of the time. And that's something that's never going to change with me. But with these events, if these events call for people teaming up, whether you're a content creator or not, that's exciting. Can you imagine some of these content creators, just teaming up, and it makes it for fun to watch, makes it for good content, and to see exactly where you stand or whatnot and all that kind of stuff, and you can just talk to these people back and forth while you're playing something you have in common with. And the thing is this, with these people that do content creation, that have been doing it for longer than I have, or even people that have been doing it for around the same time that I have, that are a hell of a lot farther than me, and that they're really well known now and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I look up to these people because they kind of set the example, because they're ahead of you, and it gives you something to learn from them. Simple as that. And at the same time, a lot of these people are really good at the game as well. So it kind of gives you every reason to want to play with them, or even if you're not on the same team or whatnot, or even if you're doing some friendly competition, hey, it's always good. It's great. And I run into really great players on Xbox as well. The ratio to good to bad players is still the same regardless of which console you play on. But when you see somebody on Xbox that you never played with or against before, by pure luck or whatnot, or whatever the situation may be, if you see them and you play, it just adds to that special feeling. And at the same time, you're like, okay, let's see how well I do. Or even if you're playing on the same team, it's like, okay, let's see if I can outscore the person that I look up to when it comes to this whole Call of Duty thing. And the thing is with me, regardless of age, regardless of whatever, you could look up to pretty much everybody, because no two people are the same, and everybody has something to offer, regardless of age, regardless of life success, regardless of position. I like to think that everybody has something to offer, and quite frankly, I truly believe that, because life has shown me that. It hasn't shown me otherwise. So the thing is, you could always look up to somebody, even if they're not at the same level you are and what you're doing. You could always learn something from them, and that's the kind of mentality that I have. Granted, sometimes because everybody does have an ego here and there. Sometimes our egos do get the best of us, but for the most part, I like to keep that mentality going, because I'm a person that I still see myself as a person that is, regardless of how far I've come, I still see myself as a noob. The same way I see myself in Call of Duty, regardless of what I'm able to do, which I couldn't do before because I kept continuing to do it and grinding at it. Regardless of all that, regardless of where I may be right now in terms of gun skill in Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff, I still might see myself as a noob, because I more than understand that there are people out there that are superior to me, and I still kind of grind to climb that ladder. And every once in a while, playing on PlayStation or playing alongside these people or whatnot gives me a chance to take my potential even further. And at the same time, it gives me a reason to basically another reason to participate in these kind of events. Granted, they're kind of like what I'm going at here. And it's good for content creation. It's good for me to learn, because remember, with Call of Duty, it's not games like this and the previous ones that you saw. It's not games like this that make the player better. It's the games where you struggle to where you get better. And that's why there aren't too many great players out there in comparison when you total out the entire community. That's why our community has a lot of people that are not good at the game. Respectfully speaking, I'm not trying to diss anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying that a lot of people just don't want to go through that grind. They don't like getting their asses handed to them. And don't get me wrong, I don't either. But at the same time, I have this understanding to where that is where the transition takes place, is getting your butt handed to you by good players. That's why I don't leave lobbies. Now, the only time I'll leave lobbies is if I don't feel like trying. Like if I don't feel like, if I feel like I just want to get on and I just want to, have a good time and casually play for a few hours here and there, then if I see a team of really good players, I'm like, I'm not going to go through that. But at the same time, if I'm trying to get better at a game for the most part, and if I'm feeling it and everything like that, I will stay with that lobby until I'm done, or until I get a win or something like that. That's just the way I operate. But if I'm trying to go for something else, like let's say a deatomizer strike, you're not going to get it. It's really, 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 really difficult to get a deatomizer strike if there's one or two other players that are on the opposite team, just to say. So it all depends on what you're going for. But in terms of getting better, if there's anything I could say from what I've learned, because I've been playing this game for the last 8 years, if there's anything I could say is, if there's another good player in the lobby, if there's another, whether they're tryhards or whatever you want to call them or whatnot, or whether they're a content creator you recognize or whatever the situation may be, and they just happen to be in the same lobby as you, or you happen to be in the same lobby as them or whatnot, just by pure luck or whatever the situation may be, stand your ground and play and do the best that you possibly can. And the thing is, I know that the truth is a hard pill to swallow sometimes, and it really is, not just in Call of Duty, but in life in general. But the thing is, at the same time, the truth is something that will make you better. You got to go through that. You got to get, it's a lot like martial arts and jiu-jitsu. For those of you guys that have done any jiu-jitsu, you know that you're going to get tapped out, and somebody's going to tap you out, but it's only a matter of time, as long as you continue practicing, before you start tapping people out. And then that's the transition you go to. It's part of what you have to do to become a black belt. You have to go through the time where you get your butt handed to you. And the same thing is apparent with Call of Duty or anything else, actually. So, you know, if there's anything I could tell you guys is, like, stand your ground. You know, stick around and do your absolute best. And if people call you a tryhard, it's like, fine, okay. You could be called something worse, that's for sure. You know, so in my opinion, you know, being called a camper is much worse than being called a tryhard. It's simple as that. And no disrespect to you campers out there. I'm not trying to start any wars or anything, because I do know that there are a few of you that watch me that are out that, you know, just like to stay in one spot and just set up a whole bunch of traps and just have your sights aimed down through a window. And that's cool. You guys do you do your thing or whatnot. But I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I'm just talking about me, in my opinion. It's, you know, being called a camper for me personally is if somebody accuses me of camping, I'd be more insulted than somebody calling me a sweaty, you know, because first of all, I'm not a camper, and second of all, yeah, sometimes I do sweat. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about, guys. Black Ops 4 is right around the corner, and I'm really motivated and excited to get my hands on it, because, you know, we can only play the old Call of Duties for so long before we get bored of them. We can absolutely love the game, but, you know, we can get bored of them. But with all these events that they have going on, you know, I may be temporarily switching over depending on whatever the situations may be. But I will mainly still play on Xbox. So for those of you guys that might have been sarcastically worried or whatnot, don't worry. I will still stick with Xbox, but every once in a while I will be switching over when it comes to these events, or if something hypothetical happens, so to speak, and you guys can use your imagination on that. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think of the commentary and the gameplay, and let all comments be known down below. And if you feel like it, feel free to roast me. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.